Hi guys, this is IGCSE O-Level Chemistry, paper 12, June 2014, question 11. What will be produced at the anode and at the cathode if molten potassium chloride is electrolyzed? Now, since it is molten potassium chloride, we will not have anything other than potassium and chlorine being produced. So now potassium is a K positive ion. So it will accept electrons to form potassium metal. So this is called reduction, and reduction takes place at the cathode. And for chlorine, we have got chloride ions. So two chloride ions will release 2 moles of electrons and form chlorine gas. So removal of electrons is called oxidation, and oxidation takes place at the anode. So at the anode, we would have chlorine and not hydrogen and not potassium, eliminating option C and D. And on the cathode, we would have potassium and not hydrogen, eliminating option A and making option B the correct option for this question. Question 12. Solution of two chemicals are mixed. A reaction occurs and the temperature change is measured. Which statement is correct? If the reaction is endothermic, the temperature decreases and the energy is taken in. Yes, temperature decreases in an endothermic reaction. Next, if the reaction is endothermic, the temperature increases. No. And the energy is given out. No. Next, if the reaction is exothermic, the temperature decreases. No. And the energy is given out. Yes, in an exothermic reaction. So, last one. If the reaction is exothermic, the temperature increases. Yes, and energy is taken in. No, energy is given out. So this makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 13. Power stations produce electrical energy from different fuels. Which fuel causes least pollution to the atmosphere? Coal. Coal burning produces carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Fuel oil. Same thing. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Natural gas, same thing. Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Radioactive isotopes. So the energy is produced through radioactive decay and no carbon emission takes place. So radioactive isotopes causes the least pollution to the atmosphere, making option D the correct option for this question. Question 14. A student was investigating the reaction between marble chips and dilute hydrochloric acid, and he was collecting the gas according to the diagram. Which changes would reduce the rate of reaction? Okay, decreasing the rate of reaction. Temperature of the acid. So an increase in temperature increases the rate of reaction, so the temperature should decrease. So this eliminates options C and D. Concentration of the acid. If the concentration of acid is high, then the rate of reaction would be faster. If it is low, then the rate of reaction would be lower. So the concentration of acid would decrease, which is true in both A and B. And surface area of marble chips should increase in order to decrease the rate of reaction, because this would decrease the exposed surface area. So this eliminates option B and makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 15. Which equation shows an oxidation reaction? So carbon plus oxygen gives CO2. Carbon has an oxidation state of 0. In CO2, it has an oxidation state of +2. 0 to +2 is oxidation. So this is correct. In CaCO3, calcium has an oxidation state of +2 in the reactant and the product. Carbon has an oxidation state of +4 in the reactant and +4 in the product. So this is not a redox reaction. Next, calcium oxide. Calcium has an oxidation state of +2 in the reactant as well as the product. So this is not a redox reaction. And in N2O4, nitrogen has an oxidation state of +4 in the reactant and an oxidation state of +4 in the product. So this reaction is also not a redox reaction. This makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 16. In separate experiments, a catalyst is added to a reaction mixture and the temperature of the mixture is decreased. Okay. What are the effects of these changes on the rate of reaction? So, catalysts added would make the reaction faster, not slower. So, this eliminates option C and D. And decreasing the temperature would make the reaction slower and not faster. So, this eliminates option A and makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 17. Different plants grow best under different pH conditions. Which plant grows best in alkaline soil? So, alkaline soil would be a pH of greater than 7. So, cabbage grows at pH 6 to 8. So, this is mostly neutral, very slightly acidic or very slightly alkaline. So, potato grows from 4 to 7. So, this grows under acidic conditions. Strawberry grows under 5 to 7. So this is also acidic condition. And wheat grows from 6 to 7, which is also acidic condition. Therefore, we need to reconsider option A because it is the only one that has a pH of extending greater than 7, which means it goes to 8. So out of the four given plants, the only one that has a pH of greater than 7 and it grows the best in that soil is cabbage. So this makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 18. The equation shows a reaction that is reversed by changing the conditions. Okay, so we've got hydrated copper sulfate forming anhydrous copper sulfate and giving off steam. And in the backward reaction, we would have water being added to copper sulfate to form hydrated copper sulfate. How can the forward reaction be reversed? By adding water? Yes. So this eliminates options C and D. And by heating? No. This eliminates option A and makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 19. Element X forms an oxide XO that neutralizes sulfuric acid. Which row describes X and XO? So it neutralizes sulfuric acid, so it has to be a basic oxide. And a basic oxide is made from a metal and oxygen. So the element X is a metal and not a non-metal, eliminating option C and D. And the nature of the oxide XO is basic and not acidic, eliminating option A and making option B the correct option for this question. Question 20. Copper carbonate reacts with dilute sulfuric acid to make copper sulfate. And the equation is given. Which row gives the correct order of steps for making copper sulfate crystals? So we add excess acid to the copper carbonate, which is the same step for all options. So we move on to step 2. So after we add excess acid to, no, it is not the same. In A and B, it says add excess acid to copper carbonate. And in C and D, it says add excess copper carbonate to acid. Okay, so if we add excess acid to copper carbonate, all of the copper carbonate would form copper sulfate. So, and acid would be remaining. So options A and B are incorrect. Options C and D have add excess copper carbonate to the acid. This will neutralize all of the acid and form copper sulfate in solution, and we will have excess copper carbonate remaining as precipitate. So yes, 3 or C and D are the correct steps. Moving on to step 2, we have either we evaporate to point of crystallization or we filter. Evaporation to point of crystallization is done if we have a soluble salt already separated from the insoluble precipitate. So this is not the second step. The second step is to filter it. So this eliminates option C. Step 3, evaporate, filtrate to point of crystallization. Yes. And step 4, leave to cool. Yes. So this makes option D the correct option for this question.